Welcome or welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah. I talk about books in my basement, and this is going to be March's TBR. I had to look at my TBR thing because I keep forgetting. Time moves fast. So this is going to be yet another kind of ambitious TBR. I didn't initially plan on that being the case, but when I went to my night gallery, I realized there was a lot of things on my list. There were a lot of things on my list. There are a lot of things. What is grammar? There are a lot of things on my list that come out in April. And my goal with my ARC reading is to stay a month ahead. And so I have a lot of things for April to read. And I never did get to my 3 March ARCs because there were so many things for February. So this is a very large two-page TBR. We're going to go through this fairly quickly. The top of the list, I actually have a physical, is I need to read That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Human. This comes out, I think, on the 5th of March, so this will be read this week, next week, hopefully, and done. Thankfully, those are very quick. I blaze through Kimberly Lemming books, so I'm not too stressed about that one. Then I have The Floating Hotel by Grace Curtis. I loved Grace Curtis's first book, Frontier, and this is a cozy sci-fi about a floating hotel. It's full of diplomats and spies and the one single man who runs the whole thing. That's all I know, and I am very excited about it. So we'll see what happens. Then I have These Fragile Graces and This Fugitive Heart. All I recall for this one is that it is a cyberpunk novella sort of story. So we'll see. I really liked the sound of it when I read about it, but as always, past Sarah makes the decisions and future Sarah deals with them. Relics of Ruin is one of my most anticipated books of this year. I loved the first book in this. I don't know if it's going to be a duet, if it's going to be a trilogy, a full series, but I absolutely loved the first book, so I am pumped, so pumped for this book. It's going to be fantastic. You have not read it. Empire of Exiles is the first book in this. I think I just checked. This is going to be a trilogy, so this is the middle book. So pumped. I'm so pumped for this. I can't wait. I can't really give a synopsis. I'm not really going to give a synopsis on most of these because I plan on reading them, and I will link them all down below. So if the covers intrigue you, they're down there. Then I have Someone You Can Build a Nest In. I saw this one. The cover grabbed my attention, and then the description was just weird. I think this is a horror fantasy story. The main character, when they find a human that they're in love with or they want to be with, but their species builds their nests in their mates, like they actually use their bodies to host their young. I don't know, but it also had a very oddly cozy sounding description, so it was odd. I would encourage checking the description out for yourself. I'm actually pretty tentatively excited about it because it sounded so odd. We'll see how it goes. I have Lake of Souls by Anne Leckie. This is a short story collection from the author of the Ancillary series. She also wrote Translation State, which I absolutely loved last year, so I'm very excited to see what her short fiction is like. I have Court of Wanderers by Ren Chicago. This is the sequel to Silver Under Nightfall. I think that's how that title goes, which I read and enjoyed, and I called vampire anime bullshit, which is apt, and just hope we continue with the vampire anime bullshit. A View from the Stars by Xixin Liu. This is another short story collection from the Chinese writer of The Three Body Problem. I have read some of his short work in various anthologies, so I'm excited to see what a bigger collection of that work looks like. I don't know if there's any through plot in this one. Regardless, I'm excited about it. I also have Ghost Station by I think it's S.A. Barnes. I read the first book from this author, I believe called Dead Space or Silent Space. I can never remember the title because it's so close to a video game title, if not the same, that it confuses me. But this one is called Ghost Station, and this is I don't know if it's a sequel to that one, but it is about a spacefaring crew who find a ship that has been abandoned. It is a ghost station, and their explorations there. It sounds fantastic. I love that trope, so I'm very excited for that. A lot of these I'm very excited about. A lot of these were on my most anticipated of the year, so I apologize. I'm repeating myself. I'm bothering myself with that. Next is Wicked Problems by Max Gladstone, another sequel to something I read last year and loved. This is the sequel series to The Craft Sequence by Max Gladstone, but as of the first book in this, you could read these as a standalone. You don't have to have read the first series, and I believe the publisher and Mr. Gladstone himself also said that, so keep that in mind. The Craft Sequence is a urban high fantasy. It's set in a mostly urban setting, but it is very high fantasy with gods, in-depth monsters, and magic. And our main character in this series is a lawyer who is solving magical murders and crimes, and she has a whole coterie of friends that do this with him. It's a dark series, it's got heavy topics, but it's well worth reading. I highly recommend picking up any of the original series or this set. I don't know how long this series is going to be, but the Craft Sequence is 5 books that can be read in various different orders, so I recommend looking those up. I have Dragon Fruit, and I cannot see the author's name because this picture is very small, but this is a Hawaiian-inspired YA fantasy. I remember I got this arc months ago, and I haven't read it yet, but it comes out next month, so I'll be reading it soon. I can't tell you much about it. I don't remember much, but the cover is stunning. I have Alien Earths. Again, this is one I can't read the author. The picture's too small. This is a nonfiction about what first contact may look like on other planets. So that's right up my street. I love first contact sci-fi stories. I love nonfiction about space, and it's been a while since I picked up a nonfiction. Not too long, but long enough that I'm extremely excited to flip story styles into something like this. Have To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods, and this is by Molly, is that S. Chan? It's right here. This one, I also don't remember the summary of this. I love the cover and I am excited for it. I remember being excited for it. So another one of those. I'm trusting past Sarah on this. This one also got a lot of buzz recently because it was part of the Kat Karan debacle where she was downvoting people, and a lot of people have picked this up and have said it's fantastic, so I am excited. A Letter to the Luminous Deep. This is I believe this is the one. I thought Fathom Folk was the epistolary novel, but I think this is the epistolary sci-fi novel that takes place underwater. I don't remember much else. The cover is absolutely beautiful, so I'm looking forward to trying that one. You see how I tried to stop myself from saying excited? The Wings Upon Her Back. This is a fantasy novel about a former soldier in a religious order who is drawn back into a fight, and she is left questioning whether or not that religion and that order is worth her fight and was worth it to begin with. Like, she's seeing corruption and trouble within. It sounds very, very intriguing. I'm excited for that. Oh, I said it again. Not finally, but finally on this page. Dragon Rider by Taryn Matharu. It's a Dragon Rider book. I have no other excuse for having it than besides the fact that it's a Dragon Rider book, and I was very excited. I did start this on accident back in November, and I really liked the first couple of chapters, but then I realized that it came out till March, so I stopped. So, as to a taste test, I did like it. And one I don't have listed on here because it just came in is The Hemlock Queen. This is the sequel to The Foxglove Queen by Hannah Whitten. A lot of mixed reviews on The Foxglove King last year. Did I say it right? Yes. I'm getting them confused. But I thought it was fun. To be fair, it was before I got super deep into trying romantasy, so some of the tropes and stuff weren't super tired and problematic to me. I don't know how this one will sit, but I am still very much looking forward to it, and if I enjoy it, I will likely pick up the fairy loot that matches my Foxglove King. We'll see what happens. And the rest of these are I will probably read between arcs, and a lot of these are carryovers from last month. So we have Bones to the Wind by Tatiana Obey. I have a physical copy of this over here. Very excited about it. I have Make a Scene by Mimi. Can't read her last name on this tiny picture. It's right here. This is a Black love romance. I need some more romance in my life, so looking forward to that. I have The Fall That Saved Us. This is a fantasy about orders of demons and angels, and the angels have the demons, vice versa, and this woman has left her family, which is an order of angel, like, followers, descendants, something like that. I can't speak well. I have read about 2 to 3 chapters of this. I'm not super clear on the plot yet, but I did really enjoy what I read. Divine Rivals is still on here because I still have that upstairs. I can summarize that. Everybody knows what that is, it feels like. I have Eidolon by Grace Draven, which is the sequel to Radiance. This is a fantasy book with a romance main plot, but it's very much fantasy, and this is the follow-up to the events of at the end of Radiance. So Brishan is recovering from an attack, we'll say, and his mother is up to no good, and I really hope that we see her dead in this book because I didn't like her. I have The Sword Defiant by Gareth Hanrahan, I think. This is a talking sword book. Like I said last month, I love talking swords. The Wickwire Watch is part of SPF BO 9 this year. I've heard fantastic things. Basically one of those a thief gets mixed in with the wrong crowd stories. The Traitor by Anthony Ryan. I adore this series. This is the final book in the Covenant of Steel series. The first books are actually right here. You can see them. And I am super excited to see what happens with Alwyn here. This is the final book again, and things are popping off. And the ending of The Martyr, oh my god. Just, oh my god. That last line alone. I regretfully put this on the list. Check-In Mate by Allie Hazelwood. I swore off Allie Hazelwood because I liked her first book, but the rest of them just have not worked in any way for me. But this one is supposed to be very different. I am going nowhere near her paranormal, but this one is supposed to be very different, and I'm willing to give it a try as long as it's different than the Steminist books, because the Steminist books just felt like the same thing copy-pasted over, and it just didn't work for me. We'll see. This could be a DNF, but I have it from the library, so it won't hurt anything. I have the Book of Ilren. This is one February arc I did not get to. I am currently reading it, though, and I'm very much enjoying it. This is a republished collection of 2 of her older fantasy novels. People tend to forget that she wrote fantasy before she wrote Murderbot, so I'm very happy to see that they're republishing these because they're very fun. The King Killing Queen, I am also currently reading. This is by Sean Speakman. This is about a young woman who is unexpectedly granted the throne in her kingdom. She had no idea it was going to happen. She was the apprentice to the historian, and she has been working closely with the king for some time, and on his deathbed he names her his heir, and it kind of goes from there. Zara by S.J. Jones, I think that's what that says. This one is a beautiful cover, and I'm going to be honest with you. The beautiful cover here intrigued me, but then I saw that there is, I think it's a Fairy Loot edition that has a cover that basically, it looks like one of my Donmays right here. I can't do this. Right there. It's got a very Korean inspired cover. If it's good, I'm gonna want it. I'm gonna want to have it. So we'll see. I think this has like magical girl vibes, and I really love that. Welcome to Harak by Alex Gilbert. I am finishing The Death Path today, and I cannot wait to see what happens with Bob and with Solfus. I love this series so much. If you haven't read the Calamitous Bob series or given it a try, I highly recommend it. It is so far one of my favorite series that I have read in the past few years. Fantastic. Absolutely wonderful. I can't wait to read more in it. Murder on the Lamplight Express, which I absolutely loved Murder at Spindle Manor last year, and I want to continue that series. That seems to be a theme this month. I'm continuing a lot of series. Tea Set and Match. I am currently reading A Coup of Tea. This is a book that I read at very specific times, very late at night, usually when I am quite out of it, so I don't know, we'll see. I have a physical copy of Tea Set and Match, and I hope to finish A Coup of Tea very soon, but we'll see. I'll report back. And finally, Griffin in Light by Mercedes Lackey. This is the first in a new trilogy in the Voldemort world. This focuses on the Griffins, who were some of my favorite characters in the series back when I was a kid reading these books. I'm very happy to see more of them. I have this technically as an art. I just didn't get a chance to get to it, so I need to get to it because I also know that the second book has been announced, and the cover for that is absolutely beautiful, as are all the Voldemort books. Like, a hot take, y'all, I love the old style illustrated covers like the Voldemort books have. They're just, they sing to me. It's good. We get a lot of illustrated covers on romance. Like, I'm looking on my shelf trying to see if I have an example here at hand, and I don't. But the old school fantasy covers, the illustrated ones, let's see if I can put maybe 1 or 2 here. Probably Voldemort books. Beautiful. Beautiful to me. Absolutely stunning. Anyway, that's it for my March TBR. ambitious. And again, if any of these look familiar or sound vaguely familiar from the little bits I've said, I have everything linked down below. I put it all in the description box for you. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know if you've read any of these, which of them should I prioritize or avoid. All those thoughts down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and thanks so much for watching, y'all. I'll talk to you later.